will come a moment in your life when you stand alone. No applause, no validation, no one checking in to see if you're okay. You will wake up, look around, and realize it's just you. That moment will either break you or it will forge you into something unstoppable. Because let me tell you something most people will never say out loud. Weakness loves company, but strength is born in solitude. Most people don't realize this, but being alone is not a punishment. It's a test of who you really are when no one is watching. Because that's where the truth comes out, in the silence, in the spaces between distractions, in the moments where there's nothing left but you and your thoughts. And for most people, that's terrifying. They crave the noise, the validation, the presence of others telling them they're doing okay. They can't sit in a quiet room without reaching for their phone. They can't be alone with their mind without trying to escape it, because deep down, they know they haven't done the work. They haven't built themselves into something they can be proud of. See, solitude strips you bare. It forces you to see what's real, not what you pretend to be when the world is watching. And most people, they don't like what they see. They see the excuses, the laziness, the lack of discipline. They see the dreams they abandoned and the lies they told themselves about why they never started. That's why people run from being alone. They drown themselves in distractions, constantly searching for the next hit of dopamine, the next excuse to avoid facing themselves. But if you ever want to be unbreakable, if you ever want to master yourself, you have to stop running. You have to sit in that discomfort and make the decision that most people will never make. You have to use solitude as a weapon, not a weakness. You have to take that silence and turn it into strength. Because the truth is, if you can't control yourself when no one is watching, you'll never have control when the world is. If you can't wake up and push yourself when there's no one to impress, you will always be at the mercy of other people's opinions. Discipline is built in the moments no one sees. It's not about proving something to the world, it's about proving something to yourself. It's waking up early when no one will call you out for sleeping in. It's doing the work when there's no reward, no applause, no one clapping for your effort. It's saying no to temptation when no one would even know if you said yes. You ever wonder why the most powerful people in the world are the ones who can stand alone? It's because they don't need anything from anyone. They have mastered themselves so deeply that they don't seek approval, they don't beg for attention, they don't rely on external motivation, they create their own. They don't need the world to validate them because they already know who they are. And that's what makes them unstoppable. Because once you stop needing the noise, once you stop needing validation, you become dangerous. You become someone who moves with purpose, not for praise. You become someone who doesn't wait for permission to take action. You become the kind of person who doesn't break under pressure because you already faced the hardest battle when you were alone. So let me ask you something. Who are you when no one is watching? Are you the person you claim to be, or do you crumble the moment the world goes silent? Because if you can't sit in solitude and feel proud of who you are, then you have work to do. And that's a good thing. That means you still have time to become something greater. You don't need a crowd to become powerful. You don't need an audience to be disciplined. You just need the willingness to sit in the silence, face yourself, and build the kind of character that doesn't need validation to exist. Because the day you stop fearing solitude is the day you stop being controlled by the world, and when that day comes, nothing will ever break you again. Nobody is coming to save you. Read that again. Nobody is coming. Not your family, not your friends, not some miracle that appears out of nowhere to make everything easy for you. You can sit there and wait, hope, pray that someone will step in and pull you out of your struggles, but deep down you already know the truth. If you don't move, if you don't act, if you don't get up and make something happen, nothing will change. Most people live their entire lives waiting. They wait for motivation, for the right timing, for someone to validate them, for some perfect moment where everything will suddenly fall into place. But life doesn't work like that. Life is ruthless. It does not reward those who wait. It rewards those who take. Those who decide without hesitation that they are going to build themselves up with or without anyone's help. You want to be successful? You want to be disciplined? Then stop waiting for someone to make it easy for you. Stop expecting the world to hand you something just because you want it. Stop acting like you need someone else's permission to go after what's yours. The truth is, nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody cares about how hard your life has been. Life is indifferent. It does not listen to complaints. It only responds to action. That's why most people stay exactly where they are. Because taking full responsibility is terrifying. It's easier to blame the world. It's easier to point fingers and say, well, I could have been successful if only someone had supported me. But deep down, you know that's not true. The only thing stopping you is you. The only difference between the person you are now and the person you want to be is discipline, and discipline is a choice. You either wake up and put in the work, or you don't. You either push yourself beyond your comfort zone, or you don't. You either build yourself into something unstoppable, or you stay weak, making the same excuses for the rest of your life. There is no in between. There is no shortcut. Either you take control of your life, or life controls you. Most people are stuck because they are waiting for someone else to push them. They rely on external motivation, on a coach, a mentor, a friend, someone to hold them accountable. And sure, having support is nice, but what happens when that support is gone? What happens when there's no one there to push you? That's when you see who you really are. That's when you find out if you're truly disciplined or just pretending. Because here's the truth, if you can only work hard when someone else is watching, then you are weak. If you can only be disciplined when someone is holding you accountable, then you are not in control of your life. True power is when you can push yourself, even when nobody else is around. When you can wake up early, grind, suffer, struggle, and fight for your goals without anyone cheering you on. That's what separates the successful from the mediocre. The ones who make it in life are the ones who don't wait for help. They don't sit around hoping for motivation to strike. They don't need an external force to get them moving. They just do it. They put in the work when they don't feel like it. They keep going even when nobody believes in them. They rely on themselves, and that's what you have to do. You have to stop looking around for someone to give you the answers. You have to stop depending on others to keep you disciplined. You have to wake up every single day and make the decision that you are going to do what needs to be done no matter what. Not because someone told you to, not because you feel like it, but because that is who you are. Nobody is coming to save you, but you don't need them to. Because the moment you decide to take full responsibility for your life, you become unstoppable. The moment you stop waiting for help and start relying on yourself, you take back your power. And when that happens, nothing and no one can ever hold you back again.